was founded on 16th June 1903 by a specific gentleman called Henry Ford. And now, what made Ford so popular in America? This is what I'll tell you now. He was inspired by slaughterhouse machines, and that's what made him inspired to start making vehicles. And what made him so popular, he paid his factory workers so well. And the cars were so affordable in America at the time, since there was a crisis going on. Now here we are at Trust Ford, and this specific one is in Edgware, Trust Ford. As we can see, it's a massive showroom, and this is specifically made for the transit vans, so for their services and stuff like that. Now, today we're going to do a specific individual car that stands up to the likes of the Kia Sportage, the Hyundai Tucson, and the Nissan Qashqai. A crossover so special that it makes it feel so popular and amazing, the Ford Kuga. And that's what we're going to do inside. Let's get on it with it. My name is Mohammed Harris, and this is Little Xpert. Now, the Ford Kuga was specialized in 2008 after Ford decided, why not make a crossover that suits for all families with a good price and a good PHEV range. And that's where the birth of the Ford Kuga started, continuing the legacy of Henry Ford and his dream of making Ford as good and as popular as possible. Now, if we start on the design of the Ford Kuga, we can see its tigery, aggressive headlights here as well. And we can see that the grille is also quite big, sharp, and bold. And we also got a crossbar connecting between these two tiger-like headlights. And down here, we can see that there is more vents down here as well. The color is really, really nice though. This is a desert blue in one of Ford Kuga's painting availability, and I think it's one of the best colors out there for this specific car. If we move around to the side, we can see quite simple 18-inch alloy wheels, and there is blacked out door mirrors in this specific car. You can see. If we talk about the door handles, quite simple, nothing special about it. Also, it's kind of a rubbery around the window, so it's not chrome, it's not a luxury car. Same with the back here as well. That's the electric port at the front there, and that is your petrol one at the back here. Moving on to the rear, we can see that it's also quite simple. Like the front, again, aggressive headlights here, taking inspiration from the Puma. There is one of many models of the Ford Kuga. You can get a hybrid or the plug-in hybrid. As you can see, this is the plug-in hybrid edition as well. And down here, we've got real exhaust pipes. So you can feel a lot of vibration and rumble sound and speed from this car. And I do like, it says Trust Ford, the owning company, and this whole slope. And just before we go to the interior, I want to talk about the two shark antennas here and the opening sunroof with the net at the front, we can see there. So that's one good thing, of course, to protect from insects coming inside, because of course it needs to help with the aerodynamics and wind, and does travel a lot of dust particles to come inside. Let's move on to the interior. Okay, we open the door and we get inside. How is it like? All right, the seats first of all, I want to say that they're pretty comfortable. It's kind of fabric. Like, as you can see, the seat base is fabric. So since it's a kind of low variant, you can't get fully leather seats in the higher variant. So, but they're good and supportive enough. If you talk about the steering wheel, it's a nice all-around good steering wheel. There's no paddle shifters, and we can see that the buttons are not touch sensitive, so you can touch them really easily. The quality is surprisingly good though. It's actually soft on the top. It just gets scratchy towards the bottom. And the door bins are really, really huge as well. They go really in deep as well. Huge. I do like the fish scale on the door handle design next to the door handle. So that's one good thing I wanted to point out. The adjusting of the steering wheel. There is a side here. It's quite good. There's a speedometer. There isn't a heads-up display in this car. B&O speakers. Go. Sun visors are nice. You got 2 warm lights towards you. Nice and good. Talk about the center console. You do have a knob for your gear selector. Not too big of a wireless charging. This can only fit tiny phones. You got one old school USB-A, a USB-C, and a 12 watts socket in there as well. You got this kind of storage for your keys, I guess. This, I don't know what the point of this is. I guess it's some kind of cover for something. Adaptive cup holders. And inside the cubby storage, we got a removable tray inside here as well. And that's not that much. That's pretty tiny space if you ask for me. Yeah, that's all good. I just want to show you the sunroof as well. That's nice. It's completely open from the front. Let's move into the back. Okay, moving inside, we have here, it's a crossover, and since it does compare with the Kia Sportage, you got tons of headroom and tons of legroom, and there's no need for under-thigh support because it's quite a high car in stance. And we can see this tiny hump here that doesn't matter that much because the middle part has so much shoulder room, because like it's a really wide car as well, that they can just stretch their feet out like that, and it's really, really comfortable in that sense as well. As we can see, 2 AC vents. Of course, we're not going to expect a screen for a car like this. We just got a manual knob here, and you surprisingly got heating seats in the back. That's a really, top class quality infrastructure. Amenities that they're giving as well. 2 USB-C ports here as well. The back pockets are quite simple. They're nice. At least they're not nets. The door bins themselves are quite big as well. They're not as big as the front, but they're also quite accessible. It's just the quality on the top starts to get bad. Okay, I wish they could just continue the softness in the back here as well. But of course, same with the bottom as well. So the whole thing is actually scratchy. That's one of the reading lights here. You just had to click on it. Also, the sunroof is quite timid up here as well, and it comes down here as well. Talking about Isofix angler points, so they're easy to reach. There's no cover for them, so you can easily plop in them, and you can also fit a big bulky child seat because there's a lot of legroom and it's a lot of wideness here. Now it's quite simple here as well. Just put your hands. It's just adaptive cup holders like it is in the front. Now let's move on to the boot space. Now talking about the boot space. Okay, this specific version is 475 litres because this is plug-in hybrid. You got batteries underneath the floor. I think that's enough for explaining. There's a little bit of some buckets down here, like some space here if you want. If you want to expose the underfloor storage, you got massive. This is supposed to be your tire. You can fit your charging ports. As we can see, there is already over here, so it's really big, nice, accessible underfloor storage. Talking about 12 volt sockets, there is one over here on the left side, and there is some vents at the back as well. Now, one good thing I do like too is that you can fold the seats down like that, and so you kind of other side. It lays almost basically completely flat. I can just fix that there. Almost completely flat, so there's no ridges. So you can easily use a ridge and push your suitcases to the front if you need to. Also, this sunriser can fit in the boot storage. Probably, yes, it can. It's quite small as well, so I do like that. So automatic closing. Now, before I move on to the prices and the electric range of this car, I want to talk about a special feature here, and that's within the doors, both in the front and in the back. You can see once you open the doors, there's one protective gear that comes up in the thing. So, for example, you're parked right next to the pole. Pretend I am a pole. You quickly here, and this is going to protect your car, and it looks gradually goes back inside when you do it. So that's a nice feature. I do like that here. Now I'm going to talk about electric range, and I'll talk to you about prices. This specific variance's electric range is going to be 39 miles. That's not that much. That's comparable with the Tucson and the Hyundai. Yeah, Tucson. If I talk about prices though, the recommended OTR price that Ford put into their website is £33,000. So that is a lot cheaper than a Kia Sportage and Hyundai Tucson. That can go all the way up to £40,000. So you're about approximately getting £7,000 of cheaper equipment. And yes, it's a little bit of a downgrade. It's not that luxurious, we can say, but it's more than enough to serve you. The average MPG is 40 miles per gallon overall combined. Now, I think it's not that good. It's still comparable. It's not like the Kia Sportage have 60 miles per gallon. So it's around the same level. Now, what's my final verdict on this car? It's really cheap. It's got a good plug-in hybrid range, just enough for the city driving. And overall, it's a good family powerhouse. It's Mohammed Harasay from Little Xpert, signing off.